Ready?
Hey guys, I'm just not a word. Okay. So many adults can have such a big impact on our lives. I could easily talk about my mom or my dad, or either one of my stepmom or stepdad, or my older brother, who's definitely my role model above most other people. But instead, I'm going to talk about my little cousin, whose name is Braden. This is his picture right there and there. Because I feel like little kids are so often forgotten, and little kids are kind of pushed to the side. Oh, you'll understand when you're older. Oh, you can't teach us much, like we know best. And we think that older people are the ones with the wisdom, but little kids can unintentionally teach us quite a bit. So I'm going to discuss how my little cousin Braden unknowingly led me to two of my passions, both in kids and nursing. So he was born September 29th in 2004. And of course, we all went to the hospital, got to see him, all that fun stuff. And my family likes to get together a lot. And so in December, he was 2 months old, we all got together and we were all making lasagna. And of course, I was a little kid, so I couldn't really help much. And I was busy oohing and awing at him because he was the first little cousin that I had who was significantly younger than me. And I was finally able to hold him, and he was one of the first little kids I was able to hold outside my own little brother and sister, which was pretty exciting that I was trusted with that. I mean, of course, my aunt and my mom were like watching me like that, but I still got to hold him. So this sort of began my love for kids, and it wasn't like suddenly it clicked and I was like, oh my gosh, I love kids, because I was still a kid at that point. But I realized that I loved people younger than me, and at the holidays following that, I would always pay special attention to him, and soon he had a younger sister, and them too. I just loved hanging out with them, and led me to later. I worked in a daycare, babysat, nannied, and now I want to work with kids the rest of my life. So when he was about 15 months old, he started getting sick, and I was 9, 10 at that point. Didn't really understand what sick meant. I knew sick was like having a cough, but I also knew like my great-grandma died from being sick, so didn't really know what to make of him being sick. So the adults would talk and they'd be like, oh, Braden's not doing well. And I'd be like, what does that even mean, you know? And so he found out he had mitochondrial disease. I'm not going to explain that to you because I'm having a hard time understanding that myself. And I didn't know what that meant. So when I got into high school, I started to begin to understand it more. And this is a picture of me and him in high school, then my little brother and him also in that time frame. And his disease progressively got worse, unfortunately. And when I was in high school, during those 4 years, he's probably spent more time in the hospital than outside of it. And we visited him a decent amount, and when we were there, we were able to see that it wasn't the doctors that made the difference. Doctors were in the room maybe a minute out of the hour, you know. They just didn't have the time. Doctors have a ton on their plates. And we realized what really made or broke the experience at the hospital was the nurses. And these are two of his nurses that he had in his time, and you can just tell the way he's standing with pride how much he loved his nurses. And, so there's really no such thing as just a nurse. And these nurses really made a difference in his life. I'm sorry. And it's what inspired me to be a nurse. Unfortunately, his life didn't last much longer. This picture was taken on his 9th birthday when we all visited him in the hospital. A couple days after his 9th birthday, he went home to be on hospice for another week and a half. And on October, no, I can't even see the date, October 11th, he passed away, which is actually on Sunday, so it'll be 2 years on Sunday. And even though he's just a little kid, and people would write him off as a little kid, he really meant a lot to me, and he really led me to my passions. So I challenge you guys. The older people in our life are great. I love my mom and dad, and I love all the older inspirations in my life. But I challenge you guys to look under you and look at those people that you so often forget and realize that they can have a big impact on your life too.